Hey, what's up, guys? It's Michael with the Honest Youth Pastor back again with another helpful video, hopefully for you, in particular, Christian parents that have small children, anywhere from the ages of 3 all the way up to the ages of probably around 14. Hopefully, this will be a helpful video for you. As we get into it, there's at the time of this posting, we're getting to the end of LGBTQ plus month, although known as Pride Month in June. And oftentimes all throughout Pride Month, the advertising, is really increased in regards to that sort of messaging. A lot of logos of companies are switched to that. There's a real big push for representation during June, or at least celebration of representation in June. And it can become pretty overwhelming, especially if you're a Christian parent and you are trying to teach your children how to interact with the things that the culture accepts around them and how to sort of work through that in a way that's helpful and also biblical. Because oftentimes Christians get accused of being like, oh, you're putting your kids in a bubble. Oh, you're shielding them. Oh, if you think if they read or watch this show, that'll turn them gay. These are all obviously straw men arguments that are put forth, but it is important for us to know, hey, as we interact with the culture around us, is there something that at least helps us discern better and do a better job of helping our kids, navigate what's going on? Because there are advertisements clearly on television. There are clearly companies that are in overwhelming support of a lifestyle and a view on life that is counterintuitive to Christianity and should be submitted to the Lord. So how do we do that well? Well, one of the things I want to cover before we actually get into what I think is the most helpful part of this video, I do want to cover really quick just sort of the advertising. As parents, if you have a television, if your kid has a tablet, if they are all connected to any sort of media, they are going to see commercials, much like the one you see on screen now as far as the Lego commercial. And they're going to have to navigate that this commercial is clearly, blatantly pushing queer ideas, LGBTQ plus community ideas, affirmation of that. And not only do we have Lego doing that, we also have food companies such as Oreo with their blatant ad as far as, hey, I'll march with you. I'm an ally. Let me give you kind affirming words. These are the sorts of things that happen. We also even have companies like Postmates coming out with ads that are of quite a bit of a provocative nature, obviously not directed toward children, but kids might see this and really start asking questions about peaches and eggplants and what's the bottom and all of these things that aren't incredibly, one, especially for kids, don't even need to think about at all. And these are the ads that are being aired on either television or direct ads on their media devices and or phones, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, those sorts of things that are just blatantly out there for them to see. Now, one of the things that we have to really think about as Christian parents is what are we going to do in regards to media, especially shows that are targeted toward anywhere from 3 to 14-year-old. Obviously, the ads on television are more on us, right? Are we going to purchase from those companies? Are we going to support those companies with our money to then put ads out that are on a very real level indoctrinating our children? Everyone is indoctrinated. It just depends on where you get that knowledge source from, whether it be commercials, whether it be television shows, whether it be the Bible. You are getting taught a worldview. So our question as parents basically comes down to, where are we going to spend our money? Are we going to spend it to support companies that clearly don't support our values, or are we going to be wiser and more discerning in how we spend our money? That's a totally different video, really, that we need to do later on. But I wanted to intro with that because that really is kind of the beginning part of as how we as Christian parents kind of interact with society with the money that we're spending. Are we going to spend that money toward companies that are going to help our children interact with culture in a biblical way, or are we going to spend it on companies that clearly are against and have no interest in biblical things? So that's just a thought to process because it leads into this next thing. Cartoons and if you're going to have Disney Plus, if you're going to have Netflix, if you're going to have Cartoon Network, you need to be aware of the things that are being put out there, right? So what characters, what shows, what's the storyline that's happening in this cartoon, what characters are involved in this cartoon. And you may think, well, that's silly. But the video that's on the screen now, I'm going to link that below for you. It's actually put together by Insider, a secular company, no interest at all at putting forth a biblical narrative, but they've put together this short video, and you can watch it below. Rebecca Sugar is interviewed a few times in it. Rebecca Sugar worked on Adventure Time, and then she went on to make Steven the Universe. I don't know what she identifies as, but the point is, in her show, she's specifically put characters in there that are blatantly part of the LGBTQ plus community, which, hey, that's her prerogative, but you need to know that so that when your kids watch these shows, you know what kind of messaging they're getting. Because oftentimes, as much as I hear parents say, well, I watch television with them, I guarantee you they are consuming media apart from you, and they are getting some sort of messaging through that media. What message is that? So that video right there is going to be very helpful to you, because it's not put together by a Christian company. It's not put together by somebody that has trying to demonstrate that, they're trying to indoctrinate your kids. It's just Insider going, hey, look at all this inclusivity that we've put in and representation. Like, it's funny to me that if a Christian did this, it would be homophobic, but because a secular company did it, it's informative. But whatever. That's the way it goes. Now, that link for that video is going to be below for you. But one of the things that I want to show you, and I'll also link below, is Insider put together a compilation of 259 LGBTQ plus characters in cartoon shows. They put this together. Again, they did this. They've put it together as an information piece, more so you know what shows have representation, with the idea that you'll support the shows with representation. But we can use this as Christian parents as well to say, okay, well, what shows are my kids watching any of these shows? If they are, what kind of messaging are they getting from these shows? And you can go through, you can do this yourself, obviously. You can do it by characters or by shows. We'll do shows really quick. It'll take a minute to pop over. But if you do by shows, it's going to pull up all the shows, right? So it's got some of these, admittedly, I've never heard of, but some of them are more popular shows. So Adventure Time, Arthur, we have the Bubble Guppies. I know it's popular. Clifford the Big Red Dog is popular. We have Doc McStuffins. We have Dragons, the DuckTales. We have Gravity Falls, Hey Arnold. All of these shows they've compiled together so that you can know what characters are in them that are representations of the LGBTQ plus community. And I want to go real quick. I just want to show you sort of the breakdown. So you can go to the character tab. And if you go to the character tab, you can go down and you can click any of these characters. We're going to go with that one there. Now, as soon as you click any of these characters, it's going to come up and tell you the name of the character and a little bit about the character, right? So this particular one, it talks about the gender, the race, the role, and then it has orientation over on the right side. You'll see that there. Orientation, the year this orientation was confirmed, and at the bottom, the confirmation, how it was confirmed in the show. So Adora, which is part of She-Ra, was confirmed to be a lesbian in 2020 by a kiss and a romantic gesture on the show. Now, obviously, depending on the show, this is going to be sort of a side thing, or it could be part of the main arc. We also see that the role of Adora in this show is the main character. So I'm going to guess that this particular relationship has a huge part to play in the main arc of the story. And so if your kids are watching this show, this is sort of the things that your kids are watching, the things that are built into the show. Now, again, that's their prerogative. If they want to write a show like that, they can obviously write a show like that. But one of the things as a Christian parent that you need to know is that that is actually in the show. So with that being said, those links are going to be below. And the whole point of this video is just to give you those tools to say, hey, look, this video is very helpful to watch. I found it very informative in regards to the timeline in which things were integrated in. A lot of the shows I watched as a kid are in that video showing integration early on, and then how it came into now. And then that resource will also be linked below. So you as a Christian parent can say, hey, do my kids watch these shows? If they do I need to pay a little bit more attention to this show because it is teaching my kids something? Even if it's inadvertently under the radar, it is teaching them something. And am I, as a Christian parent, doing what I need to do to combat that in a way that says, well, we are believers and believers believe this about this sin, and sort of demonstrating how to interact with culture in a biblical way. So my hope is that this will be a resource to you. If it is, make sure you like the video, you share the video. If you already knew resources like this existed, even though it's not a Christian one, it's clearly not a Christian one, but go ahead and comment below. And if you ran into this issue where you didn't even know that some of these shows had these characters in there. I know there's a couple parents, I didn't know this until I came across a couple of shows after my kids had finished watching them. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I wanted to know if there's a resource like this. And actually, as I started doing research, I came across this one inadvertently. It was not made for me as a Christian parent, but it is helpful for me as a Christian parent. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you found this helpful, make sure you share this with another Christian parent so that they can have that resource as well. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Doing all the cool things that you do. I'll talk to you later.